Welcome back to my movie review series. Today's review will be the 2019 Warner Bros. And Legendary Entertainment movie, and that is Pokémon Detective Pikachu. So, it was a few years later since Warner Bros. Made Pokémon from 1999 to 2001, and now the Warner Bros. Team is back with more Pokémon movie madness. The movie airs on Cartoon Network, and streaming on HBO Max, and Hulu, and its beta on Disney+. Tim Goodman gave up his dream of being a copyright-owned trainer following the death of his mother and his estrangement from his father Harry, a police detective who moved to Rhyme City, where humans and copyright-owned live together in harmony and copyright-owned battles are outlawed. Tim is informed by Harry's friend, Lieutenant Hideo Yoshida, that Harry was killed in a car accident. Tim goes to Harry's apartment to sort things out and meets Harry's police partner, a deerstalker-clad amnesiac Pikachu, whom only Tim can understand. Tim accidentally releases a mysterious purple gas known as R from a vial he finds in Harry's office. They are then attacked by a party of Aipom who became rabid under the gas's influence. Pikachu believes that Harry survived the crash, as the police never found his body. They meet an informant of Harry's, a Mr. Mime, who directs them to an illegal underground copyright-owned battle arena. The arena is raided by police and Tim is brought to Yoshida, who reveals footage of Harry's crash, explaining that Harry having survived would have been impossible. Tim and Pikachu are contacted by Howard Clifford, the founder of Clifford Industries and creator of Rhyme City. Howard reveals that Harry was abducted by a genetically engineered copyright-owned called Mewtwo, who erased Pikachu's memory of the incident. He warns Tim that his son, Roger Clifford, is behind the creation of the R gas. Tim and Pikachu recruit aspiring journalist Lucy Stevens and her Psyduck and travel to the abandoned genetics laboratory Harry was investigating, where they are attacked by genetically enhanced Greninja. They manage to escape, but Pikachu is injured in the attack. A Bulbasaur leads them to Mewtwo, who heals Pikachu and begins to reveal how Pikachu helped him escape from the lab, only to be abducted by Roger mid-revelation. Believing himself to have betrayed Harry, Pikachu leaves him. Pikachu discovers the scene of the crash and finds evidence that the Greninja, not Mewtwo, were responsible for the crash. Back in Rhyme City, Howard reveals himself as the true mastermind behind the R gas and the Mewtwo experiments. He explains that Mewtwo can fuse humans with their copyright-owned, but only if the copyright-owned is in a crazed state, thus necessitating the need for R. Howard uses a device to transfer his consciousness into Mewtwo, unleashes the gas on the city from parade balloons and starts fusing humans with copyright-owned, including Lucy and Yoshida. Now it's up to Pikachu and Tim to defeat Howard and free Mewtwo, and get the people of Rhyme City back to normal. The story is mostly pretty decent, as while it does have some things that don't really add up, and it can be a bit of a jumbled mess that has a few weak jokes and can be a bit predictable, but the movie does manage to be mostly pretty enjoyable and fun, as the plot itself, though a bit messy, is still pretty decently written and does have a few legit surprises. There are some pretty funny jokes and moments. It does have a good amount of that classic Pokémon charm and heart. It does have some pretty fun and awesome action scenes, and it does mostly do a solid job at adapting the story of the game despite a lot of the changes. The action scenes of this film are pretty awesome, as they can be a lot of fun while also being pretty intense, such as the Aipom chasing after Tim and Pikachu, the battle between Pikachu and Charizard in the underground arena, Tim, Pikachu, and Lucy evading the attack by the Greninja in the woods, and the final battle where Tim and Pikachu battle the controlled Mewtwo in Rhyme City. The film does also have some pretty solid humor, as while there are some weak jokes here and there, a good chunk of the comedy does land and does result in some funny jokes and moments that do get a good laugh, such as the witty banter and trash talking, some of the gags and visual humor, some of the dark humor and the occasional adult joke, and so forth. The film does also have some genuine heart behind it, which does help give the movie some tender and heartfelt moments, like the growing bond between Tim and Pikachu, and Tim's determination to solve the mystery of his father's disappearance. The production design of the film is pretty solid, as it does help make the movie look very nice, with the sets and set pieces all being very well made and having a great amount of detail. The actual filming locations featured are very well utilized, the lighting is pretty solid, and the costumes, makeup, and clothing are all pretty well crafted. The special effects of the movie are also pretty solid, as while they may not be the most convincing effects, they do still look pretty well crafted and executed, such as the more realistic designs and animations for Pikachu and all the other Pokémon, the Pokémon's various abilities and powers, the fire and explosions, the R-gas, the CG-enhanced backgrounds and environments, the design and architecture of Rhyme City, and so forth. The characters of this movie are pretty decent, as while they can be a little one-note and there are a few that are pretty forgettable, there are still some of the more major characters that are decently likable and do have some okay chemistry and dynamics, wit and humor, charm and charisma, and a bit of growth and development, such as the determined Tim along with the snarky Pikachu, the snooping Lucy and her Psyduck, the no-nonsense Lieutenant Yoshida and his Snubbull, the mysterious and powerful Mewtwo, and the deranged Howard Clifford, who's an okay villain. The acting is pretty solid, as the actors all deliver some pretty good performances, like Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu, Justice Smith as Tim, Catherine Newton as Lucy, Ken Watanabe as Yoshida, Bill Nighy as Howard, and more. The music by Henry Jackman is pretty good, as his score for this film does sound pretty nice and well composed, and it does do a good job at capturing the movie's adventurous, light-hearted, action-packed, and heartfelt tone. Verdict: 9 out of 10. While it does have some flaws, this is still a pretty solid and enjoyable movie that does manage to be a pretty solid adaptation of a spin-off game, and is a nice treat for both families and major Pokémon fans. Here's hoping that Warner Brothers will make a sequel soon, only the time will tell.